jiggle funk it a little bit. Can the people hear us? Ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me, let's, you know what you should do? You should unplug. Yeah, there you go. Unplug it and then plug it back in. Ladies and gentlemen, as somebody who is a IT professional, I'll have you know, 60% of the time, all the time, if you unplug something and plug it back in, it just starts working again. In this case, that didn't happen. Are you sure you went to the main and not the not to Twizz's? All right, I'm gonna get up and fix this.
I'm gonna go back to the smoke show. Go ahead.
We'll be right back. Check.
prisión, Wilson Mayoma, Corona.
Hopefully they don't hit me one day like they did.
Like your boy Trefago, whatever his name.
Yo, Master Numb Podcast, episode 194.
194.
Right? It's 194, right?
That's what I named it.
Okay, well, that's what it is.
I hope it's not what. I hope it's the second 194 we're doing.
Hey, listen, man. Sometimes when it's that good, you got to go twice.
No, it is 194.
All right, cool. So, Master Numb Podcast, episode 194. We're going to go ahead and get this intro out of the way so we can jump in. So, episode 194, Master Numb Podcast. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in live right now. 7 p.m. Happy Tuesday. We like to go one day after the beginning of the week just to let things kind of roll out for Monday and then just be able to jump in here with you guys for Tuesday. So thank you for joining us. If you are joining us live, make sure you participate in the chat. We always appreciate the chat. It's our favorite part of the show. If you cannot participate in the chat and you can't watch us live, make sure that you guys at least tune in to the audio versions of the podcast that you can find on all of your favorite podcast listening platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Store, Stitcher, Podbean, whatever your favorite preferred listening platform is. And let me let you guys know one thing. If you're new here, you've never heard this before.
Yeah.
If you can't find us on your favorite preferred podcast listening platform, Berto's about to let you know.
Join the Discord. First things first, join the Discord. Second thing second, while you're on the Discord, go to the general chat and harass us. Harass us until we place the podcast on your obscure podcast listening platform.
That's what we got. And if you're just jumping in now, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss an episode when we go live or post something new.
Yes, sir.
Berto, how was your weekend, man?
Man, my weekend was pretty good. Easter was nice. Got a haircut this weekend. Got a new haircut that I normally don't get. I like things
Big
that
butts
I
and
know. Yeah, I like things that I like big butts, but I like things that that I know work, right? Like I buy the same kind of socks because I know these are comfortable. I'm not rolling the dice. I get the same haircut because I know I like this haircut. This is what I like. For whatever reason, this time I sit in a chair and I'm the last cut of the day. And I sit down and my barber's ready to cut me. He just confirms my cut. He goes, "Yo, we get a tape up, a 2 and a tape up." And I was like, you know what? We're gonna go with a fade today.
Oh, we're gonna switch it up on him. Hit him with the curve.
I didn't know fade significantly harder like cut to do, so it was gonna take him much longer to do it. Second thing, I didn't realize I wasn't gonna like it. Not his ability to fade. The fade came out great, dude. When he was like almost done with the cut, we did a 3 in a fade, and it was too dark up top. It was like bothering me, the fact that it went like so dark to so light. I was like, nah, bro, take it down to a 2 again. And
What happened? You felt like you looked like unwell?
He was like,
was
bro,
too much?
yeah, dude, yo, that's exactly what happened, dude. I was like, I don't know what it is about this haircut, but I feel crazy. I was like, I gotta trim it down. And then he goes, dude, so he cuts it. And at the end, I'm like, dude, what's taking so long? He's like, dude, I basically had to do 2 cuts because you decided to like take the top down, which means I have to do like the fade part over. It was like this whole fiasco. So that was my weekend. I got a very long haircut that ended up going until like 10:30 at night. But shout out to my barber for being patient with me. And always providing a quality cut.
Always.
And then Easter, dude. Easter, prepared. Jesus is coming back.
Easter was good,
baby
man.
in here.
It was good.
How about you?
Yeah, same thing. Easter, man. I had this thing Saturday for work. Had a good time. Chilled out, and then, then what is it?
Let's see your story.
Easter.
Easter.
So Easter was very good. So Easter was good, and yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Nothing.
I got one more thing that happened to me this weekend, and then we could talk about, and then we can get into our stories, right? Because we want to give everybody the update on the Diddy Gate. Dude, I didn't mention this, but it was my chick's birthday during the week, and we had a dinner for her on Saturday. A dinner for Spanish people means we had a party. There were a bunch of people who came. Some additional people came, and I didn't tell you this story.
You didn't.
Somebody else comes, like a friend of the family, and they bring a +1. No big deal. They knock on the door. I didn't recognize them, but they're like, "Hey, is this where the party is?" I was like, "This is the party. You guys look like you at one time didn't speak English, so you're probably at the right place because this is not the kind of neighborhood I live in. So come on in," right? I said, they came in. They did recognize they were like a friend of the aunt or something like that. Very nice people. Super nice. And what I meant when I said that was like these were like Latinos, and I don't live in a Latino neighborhood. So when they knocked on my door, I was like, "You guys can't. This has to be. You're at the right place. Trust me,
bro." We don't have to explain these kind of jokes.
No, I know.
All right, we don't have to explain ourselves. So that's what he meant. He saw a poppy dude at the door, and he's like, "Yo, you're probably at the right place because there's a lot of Spanish people here. So
Yeah,
naturally,
exactly.
you're invited in."
Yeah, I don't know. Some blonde was gonna fucking like protect my race by fucking telling me I'm a bigot for making that joke.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Karen to jump in.
yeah. How dare you? I'm from Sweden, and that's not cool to talk about Latinos like that.
Right.
Anyways,
Latinx.
Sorry, this guy comes in. He's having a good time. I'm giving him beers. Dude, I start playing salsa music, and this guy gets crazy, dude. I don't know if it was the alcohol or he had went into the bathroom and fucking and got. But dude, this guy, when he came in through the door and had a conversation with me, he was like very level-headed, regular dude. This guy got like 2.5 beers in him and got absolutely effing crazy.
Get out of
Dude,
here.
he was like, I started putting like salsa music on, and he was just screaming about how like, he's like talking about Puerto Rico runs in my blood. He wasn't Puerto Rican. He was like, it runs in my blood. I love this. And he was just screaming about how he loved the music, and he was like screaming the lyrics to the songs, dude, to the point that like people at the party, and we're all friendly people, so nobody really cares, you know what I'm saying? But some of the people that were at the party were like laughing at him. He thought they were laughing with him. Dude, his chick starts getting like secondhand embarrassment, and she like pulls him to the side, starts screaming on him. I'm not done, right? I'm like, that's all right. Like, he'll be okay. He comes over to me and we start talking. This is a real story. This guy,
I can't believe I missed this.
So maybe 20 minutes pass by. He calms down. 20 minutes pass by. I guess he gets another beer in him.
Were you thinking you had to take this guy's back soon? Or,
dude, I'm
or
not
what?
kidding.
Were you considering?
You.
I've read your mind. I know. Because
100%
in my mind, I'm thinking of myself where I would be positioning myself in the room. I'm like, sounds like this guy's about to be, soon we're going to have to take this guy down.
He was having a good time, but immediately I was like, oh man, I don't have to fucking. Dude, I hope you just don't go past this. Just have a good time.
Have a good time, have fun.
Because I don't care. You want to dance, you want to sing, you want to do it. That's what a party's about. I'm
Yeah.
not even though I don't, do some of these things. Like I don't hold it against him for drinking. Like I don't give a F, and I don't care if he sings or dances or
Yeah, you don't care.
doesn't bother me at all. Just be respectful of everybody. That's the only thing I ask. Dude, like a couple minutes pass, and he's in the more music. It's merengue this time. Starts coming on, and he gets up, and I can hear him at this point, like singing and dancing and screaming again. And his girl comes into the kitchen. She's sitting down. He comes in there. He's like, wait, what's wrong? And she just, same thing, starts going off on him and drags him out of my house.
Get out of here. And they left.
They left. She pulled him out of the party.
Oh.
And, dude, you would have thought it was this guy's birthday.
She
He was
has no
having
idea
a
she saved that
blast.
guy's life.
And, nah. Dude, I don't think he ever would have got too crazy. But,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like, I was like, oh, man, I felt bad because he was having such a good time. Too good of a time. She needed to drag his ass out.
Yeah.
But she just dragged him out. And that was the event that you missed at my house.
And admittedly, I completely forgot. I'm just an idiot. You told me about it, but we did speak quite a few days prior, didn't we?
It's not a big deal.
It's not your fault.
The
It's
most
my
important
fault.
thing
it's
is
my
that
fault, and I owe an apology to your wife.
the most important thing is that there was a guy. The story's not even about it because I don't want to get too personal here. But the story is essentially this guy came to a party,
I would have had your back.
got drunk off of 2 or 3 beers, and then lost his mind.
He
And his
might
girl
not
dragged
have-
him out.
He might not have been drunk off of them 2 beers. Who knows? He might have slammed a bottle on the way, and it hit him when number 3 came on the playlist.
It's funny because they asked me when he showed up, did he seem like he was tuned up? And I was like, no. When he came through the door, it shocked me because he was like, hey, is this where the party is? And I was like, oh, man, your English is perfect. But you look like it wasn't perfect at one point in your life. So I was like, he sounded great. He was regular. And even his girl was like regular too. They were nice people.
Yeah.
He just had a good time.
I'm curious because I'm going to tell a little story real quick.
Yeah.
I'm curious if they were at the right house. They might have.
They were at the right house.
You sure they're at the right
Positive.
house?
Yeah. It ended up being that they were at the right house. And I had been to parties with him before. And I just didn't remember him or recognize him. Because after he left, I kept making a joke. I was like, yo, where's my boy? Because everybody knows that I'm not really into like that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
And like,
We all know.
yeah, Justin says I don't like fun. I just don't like obnoxiousness. But I'm not like, I'm into people having a good time, but
Yeah.
that's past having a good time.
And you don't really know this guy. This
Yeah.
isn't your boy doing something dumb. This isn't your cousin. This isn't like your girl's man. This isn't somebody that you know. You know, it's a
Yeah.
different thing.
So, but when it started, I was kind of like, you know what? I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm just gonna remove myself from the situation. And like, if he gets crazy, then I'll step in. Like, I don't want to be I'm not gonna be the guy that ruins the party and says like, take it easy. I'm gonna wait until other people are bothered, and then I'll be like, okay, perfect. I don't know why I even got into this. That I'm not into that kind of behavior.
No, because you were just talking about like the reasons why you were glad, like why this was a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, that's you're against this to begin with, and then secondary, it's not even somebody that you really know very closely. It's it was just not a good. It was not a good look for the type of event. Like,
yeah, but apparently I had met him before, and he had been at other events, and I just don't remember him. But real good guy. It sucks that he got dragged out by his girl. I think that's the funniest part to me. Like, that's where I wanted to go to with the story about this girl, like getting like secondhand embarrassment about him getting too tuned up, and then essentially like dragging him out by his ear.
Yeah, no, it happens. I mean, shout out to her for doing that, for saving him the embarrassment, because, I've had to have been, I think it's time to go, guys. I ever tell you when I was out with my boy one time? I was out with my boy one time, and
I know this.
we
story.
just bounced from like place to place to place, and we're at this place, and we're just partying and stuff. I'm like buying rounds for people, whatever. We're staying. Dude, my boy comes over to me. We had like broken apart somehow, and I'm mingling over here, he's mingling over there. He comes to me and he's like, dude, the security guard just came to me and said, I ain't got no more lights to turn on for your boy. Y'all gotta go. It was like 4 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
But what the quick story I wanted to say is, one time my friend's family, my friend's in-laws, these are like some of the whitest people you ever seen in your life. Like, all like pie cooling on the window type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We'll just splash a little on it. But so they're having this family party. It was this family party. It was all family. The kids are running around. All the siblings are there with their kids. There's all the family. There's old people, they're playing
Yahtzee.
they're playing like backgammon and shit like
There's
that.
a shuffleboard out back.
Bro, this dude from my neighborhood shows up, knocks on the door. Now, I know him. And my boy that's also there knows him. So we're like, oh, what's up? Like, so we think somebody knows him there. And this guy's from like my old neighborhood.
Yeah. He's not of the kind of people who are there, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Yeah.
No. He looks nothing like the folks hosting the party. And I know this guy from my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, what's good? Like, so I say, what's up? I'm saying, what's up? Like, I'm like, come in, I'd show him where the food is, show him where the drinks are. Like 30 minutes into the party, he comes up to me and he's like, yo, where's so-and-so at? And I'm like, he ain't here. And he's like, what happened? He left? And I'm like, he's like, did everybody leave? And I'm like, bro, what address you looking for? My man was at the wrong party. And it just so happens that me and my man knew he was there. He just must have walked into the house that had the most cars outside or something.
That's crazy.
Bro, it was and the funny thing is that my boy's in-laws happen to live in an area that is like where I grew up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like where we grew up. So it's kind of it's a nice block in a hood neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the fact that he showed up made sense to me. He's
It
from around.
It wasn't crazy.
It wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
But it was hilarious. He was in there sitting down, and then he gets up and comes to me. He must have been looking around and felt like he was in Get Out. He was waiting for the teacups to start coming out, and he was like, yo, bro, where am I at?
Dude, sometimes you just get absorbed into a party because people One of the waiters at my wedding is in a bunch of my pictures because one of my boys knew him. And he ended up being like in the party at that point. He's in like mad at my wedding pictures. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? It's like, that's so-and-so's man's.
Hilarious.
But let's get into the topics for today.
Into the topics. Quick shout out to the chat. Shout out Xavier. Shout out George down in the chat, man. What's up, homies? But yeah, so let's get into the topics. You have your book of sonnets. What else I got from the weekend? No, that's it.
Nothing for the weekend. I think we should go right into the Diddy gate. Last week, we told you guys about Diddy, and his perversities, or what people are alleging. First things first, I think it's crazy how fast the internet picks up things. No Diddy is in full swing and effect. Nobody needs to explain it. Everybody knows what it means, and it rolls off the tongue very well.
But did you see that one little caveat about No Diddy?
What's that?
Dude, a Philly rapper
Yes.
coined the term.
Oh,
He copyrighted the shit.
really?
He has like a word trademark on it now.
So you can't use No Diddy without getting this guy a check?
I don't know, but apparently you just got us demonetized because you said No Diddy like 4 times.
How's this
No.
dude just
It's-
holding all the No Diddy like that?
It
Pause, No
says
Diddy.
it. It says that they're owners. You know, I don't know. It says it. It
Okay.
was posted. I think he was from Philly. But anyway, so go ahead with the Diddy gate.
I thought you were gonna tell me about what people are saying about, like, yo, the news that's coming out of this situation.
Diddy gate.
Dude, it's so crazy. I don't know what's real and what's not. I seen a headline today that said him and Meek Mill are allegedly dating,
Oh my God.
which
what was
I don't
that?
believe that.
No, was that The Onion?
I don't know. It was like not The Onion. No, dude, that one I don't believe. But they started playing. It's funny because like they start playing Meek Mill lyrics that kind of sound crazy.
Yeah.
You know, the internet's very good at convincing people of like trolling, like troll things.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. You gotta be very careful when you listen to people, even when you're listening to us.
That's right.
You gotta be the most careful.
Especially when you're listening to us. So, but I wanted to say something because a lot of news sources were covering this. A lot of news, every single major media outlet has been covering this. And for that reason, I could not find a single reliable source because I don't trust the mainstream media for anything. But finally, we got somebody that spoke some detail on the case, explained the things, a lot of the stuff that was said in mainstream media, but now at least I believe that these are the details of the case. And that person is 1090 Jake.
Shouts to him.
You know what I'm saying? I'm rocking with y'all if y'all rocking with me.
Yeah, a man of the
You
people.
know? Man of the people. It's so funny that in 2024, the person that I'm like, okay, now I believe it, is a hood dude from Boston covered in tats that does online YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I believe him more than I believe any news media because he has some kind of dignity, respect, and values.
He's
You
a
know what I'm
credible
saying?
source for the lane that he's in.
Yeah.
He's very credible. He's not often incorrect, and when he is, he always retracts he always like puts out a retractment.
Yeah.
So-
when, retractions are what is lost now in mainstream media. They don't do that. They're
Yeah, 'cause people just put stuff out and
They
they're
just
just
let
like-
it go away.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, "Oh, we were wrong."
No one's ever gonna come back and say Diddy and Diddy and Meek are not dating. They're just gonna let it fizzle out.
Exactly. So, but yeah, there are some different details that are coming out now.
I heard they're looping in our homegirl.
Listen, man, there's very few people that have repped for our people. You know what I'm saying? For our people, as much as this woman. So I'm not going to be quick to demonize her.
Nah.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what kind of duress she was under. But this little Rod statement included statements where he was saying that Diddy had been bragging to him about certain things throughout their time together.
Yeah.
And one of those things was that he actually committed the shooting, allegedly. As stated by Rod, that he says that Diddy said this. That happened in the club in New York City in 2001 where Shine ended up catching the charge and doing jail time and being deported for just a big mess. And J-Lo was there that night at the club with Diddy.
Jenny from the block.
Jenny from the block.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, Diddy's trying to say she Jenny with the Glock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because now there's some speculation based on Little Rod's paperwork he filed that he's saying that Diddy also would brag that J-Lo brought the firearm into the club for him in her bag and then passed it to him after the altercation or during the altercation with this person that they ended up shooting at.
That's crazy. I wonder why that's even the thing, because who's checking Diddy before he goes to the club?
Nobody.
You know, why can't he hold the ratchet? But I mean, I guess he's not holding it in the street, so he does. Yeah, I get it. It makes sense. I don't know why she would be the one to hold it, but
Yeah, she's just as important. You got to have the assistant hold that.
yeah, you
know?
got to have that dude, Lil Rod.
Yeah. But anyway, I found that to be crazy because I'm like, wow, they're looping in people. These are such old cases. Wouldn't there be a statute of limitation that nobody died in that shooting?
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
wouldn't there be statute of limitations? Maybe they'll pull her in for I don't know.
But there's like multiple crimes committed, right? Because if they lied about it, it's not just that this guy didn't do it. They also like, you know what? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yo, go ahead, break the law down. How they perjured themselves? How
It's
they
not
perjure
just,
themselves?
but it's not just the fact that Diddy did it and this guy didn't do it. Like they were all in cahoots, you know what I'm saying? Like there's got to be like other laws that have been broken, like as a result of them having to pull this off. I don't know. I don't wear a black blazer to work.
You don't swing a gavel at work.
Yeah, I don't swing a gavel at work, so I'm not the guy to tell you. Listen, my socks are inside out. You can't listen to anything I fucking say.
You just realized.
Yeah, I just realized that. You could listen to me, but definitely don't tell your folks about it, you know?
Yeah. So my question is, I find it, or my issue with some of these points that are in this paperwork, including J-Lo, including these alleged things that happened in the 90s that included things of a sexual nature, other things that happen in a violent manner or what have you. I just find it unlikely that he was able to cover up this many major crimes for this many years. How do you hide like attempted murder? How do you hide public shootings? How do you hide these sexual events that they're saying happen for this long? You know how many people end up knowing about these things?
Listen,
And
man, you know how they hide it. You see this thing come up, then the bridge goes down.
oh yeah, to just distract you real quick.
Yeah, to distract you.
I
Diddy had a
gotcha.
bridge pulled down, allegedly. Did you see the meme that was posted on the Discord?
Nah.
It was Dr. Evil, and it was Dr. Evil. He's like on the phone, and he's like, they got Diddy. And then they cut to the chick also from
The
Austin
one
Powers.
that's like, fire the rocket, whatever.
Yeah,
that one.
exactly. So it's like, imagine Dr. Evil, they got Diddy, and then that chick, take down that bridge!
Yeah.
Which I thought was the funniest thing ever.
That is funny.
Yeah, but
Internet's undefeated, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy, this Diddy thing.
the Diddy thing's insane.
More stuff is unfolding every day. So
I mean, just a couple months ago, we were talking about him and alleged shooting that happened in a bathroom. So it's like, I think that Diddy's just been going through it, and this federal investigation has been going on a lot longer than we know about. I think it's probably been going on for a while, and it's just becoming uncovered now because now they're bringing people in.
yeah, there's also a lot of sources that are pulling in people that are experts in certain regards. Like I know the Pat Bet David podcast, they had Donald Trump's attorney on to talk about different things, and then it evolved into them talking about the Diddy case, and her being an attorney and a high profile attorney dealing with cases like this. She was talking about they showed a video of, because there have been security guards. You saw these videos over the past couple months prior to this, right? These security guards that have been coming out, personal security details about Diddy. One's coming out with stories about Will Smith. You know,
I heard the Will Smith
You
one,
know what
yeah.
I'm talking about? So these security guards are starting to come out, these private bodyguards now that probably are having a hard time making money. So now they're starting to do these tell-all podcast interviews. And they're starting to talk about stuff that may or may not be true, but if anybody has access to these events, it would be these kind of guys. You know, the guys that are watching the door
Yeah.
while something crazy's happening. So this guy was saying that he was just talking back and forth about these things that ended up coming out, and he said that there was going to be raids. He said in the next couple months, there's going to be raids on all his properties you're going to see. And he was very specific about the things he was talking about. He said there's tapes. Wait till they get in there and get all these tapes and this and that. And they asked the attorney, Donald Trump's attorney that was sitting on the podcast, and she said, clearly he's a cooperating witness. She's like, he is cooperating with federal investigators. She's like, this is all exactly what ended up happening. She's like, so when you see somebody's story match up like this, he's cooperating. She's like, so, you know, it's hard to know if these things are, you know, if this is completely truthful, because they may just be acting on his information, not knowing if it's 100% accurate or not, but it may have been enough to get the warrant signed. You know what I mean?
I mean, I wonder, and that is super interesting that this guy just kind of, she just exposed the fact. She's like, wait, y'all don't see this?
She was laughing.
Yeah.
Like she was like, obviously, because one of the guys was like, man, this guy hit it right on the head and all that, you know, but he's a comedian that happens to sit in his position on the podcast.
Yeah.
She says, Come on, guys. She said, really?
I've seen this. She's probably seen it 1,000 times.
She's seen that movie, but anyway, we'll see what details unfold. And then as we find new things, and, we'll drop them in.
Why are they
podcast.
trying to loop Hove into this now?
I don't know if they're trying to loop Hove into it. First of all, the first time I heard that, I don't know if this was the first time, but it was the first I saw of it, and then it started to be mentioned about Hove, was 50 tweeted something.
Yeah.
And 50's tweeting a lot of inflammatory stuff about this, and people are like, man, 50's going at him. If you notice, after every time he posts something, you know what I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. He tags his liquor. He tags the businesses he's affiliated with. So he ats them. So that's getting clicks. That's getting views for their pages, views for their product. So I never fully believe anything, especially if it's attached to a brand.
Well, he does this whenever there's a huge controversy. He just digs at whoever is the antagonist.
The target of whatever the investigation or event is.
Exactly. But, man, staying on music, while we're on music, you want to talk about this guy who went viral on TikTok and now is probably in a lot of debt as a result?
Yeah. I mean, this is crazy to me because I'm a music producer and I do make a lot of sample beats. That's what I do. That's hip hop to me. That's, I came up around that. That's the music I was listening to. And that's the music I like to make a lot of times. So I like to find fire samples, old soul samples, old salsa records, whatever. You could check our intro. I like to find records that I grew up listening to or that, I'm familiar with, or records that I just really think there's a part in that record that really speaks to me, evokes some kind of emotion, evokes something, some inspiration. So I'll use it. A lot of producers do that, even loops or samples. Like your favorite hip hop records have samples in them. Mm-hmm. I don't care what they are. I don't care if it's Kanye, if it's Hove, it doesn't matter. And because of that, a lot of producers, a lot of the mentality is if the record blows up, I'll clear the sample. Because you have to just, long story short, it's a music business. If you do incorporate a portion of a song, of a previous recording that the rights are owned by a label or by a writer or by an artist, and you want to utilize part of that record in your production, you can in certain instances. Certain things have to be done. You have to clear the sample with everybody involved in creating that original recording. You have to clear it with the writer. You have to clear it with the record label if there is one. You have to clear it with the performer. You have to clear it with, whoever owns the publishing. Like there's a lot of different people that you need to clear. Sometimes it can be 4 layers of people you need to get through. Like you're not going to clear a Michael Jackson sample like this. You're going to have to go through his estate. You're going to have to go through who owns the rights, the masters, all that kind of stuff. So with that said, there's a lot of work that has to go into clearing a sample, unless you use like TrackLib or something like that, but that's a different story. This guy used a sample, and it was an old sample, it was a sample of a record by an artist that's not a very commonly known artist, not a household name, but he uses it, happens to be owned by Sony. This record goes viral. It gets 100 million streams, allegedly. Sony Music Group is alleging that. And a federal judge has ordered that he pay $800,000 in damages to Sony Music Group.
Dude, that's a lot of money. I doubt that he got $800,000 from from TikTok. That's insane, man.
I don't know how they can order him to pay more than the record made. Like, how can you do that? This is going to become a business model for record labels. They're just going to sit back, wait for people to sample their records instead of making new records, and then just smash them in the head for more than they would have made if they put the record out themselves.
But didn't he get damages? So aren't they saying that something that he did caused like a negative effect on them? Not that he necessarily stole the rights to his music, but he used it improperly.
It did say damages. I don't know what the damages could have been. I mean, what are the damages? Why don't they just come for like 80% of the revenue or 80% of the royalties? Take it all. Take it all. But
even if they took it all, I think that would make the most sense. It's like, all right, listen, you use this sample. You weren't supposed to use it. Give us all the money you made off of it, because that's the money we would have made off of it. Yeah. But I don't think that that's enough for these. Dude, these companies are... These are the same ones that, like, not this specific company, but not Sony, but companies like this are the companies that like buy every house in a small town.
Yeah.
You know, like what's going on in Colorado right now, where these companies, these large companies, are buying all the
Atlanta, too.
houses in these towns and then just renting them out. And what inevitably happens is that they control that entire market because they own it all. It's got to be, you know, which is it's a business strategy, but it's one of these like bloodthirsty business strategies. You know, these kind of lawsuits are the same way. You know, this guy probably doesn't have $800,000.
No. Like, to me, let's call it what it is. Record label executives and the people that look for signing artists, they're literally people with zero talent themselves. They don't produce anything. They don't do anything. They can't write a song. They can't sing. They can't record. They can't perform. They can't dance. They can't do any of it. But they have found a way to own the people that do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just dirty business in that sense, because without the artist being exploited, there's no business model for these people. So it's just dirt bags through and through.
Yeah.
You know, like complete dirt bags. I don't know why it is that I pursue being a part of these disgusting heathens, but.
Well, there's the times where people give you opportunity based off their knowledge, like people who have done this before. If you're a musician and you've been successful, you can use strategies that made you successful to help make somebody else successful. Like, you know, things like that, or you know, there are some intangible assets that people have. But when you talk about these major companies, Sony, for example, like these guys at the top, that's not what they're just, they have enough money to put behind people to force people to listen to them. Because I'm convinced that, you know, it's not about, they're forcing us to listen to what they want us to listen to. Just like Netflix, you go on Netflix right now, that Story of Moses is #1. That, nobody cares about the Story of Moses. Nobody
cares. Where it
cares.
should be #1.
No, dude, it's not even like a live. I thought it was going to be like a live action show. I was excited to watch it because I know the Story of Moses. I do find stuff like that interesting. I recently read the Old Testament, so for me, it was like it's still fresh in my head. I was excited to watch it, and then I seen that it was more of like a documentary where they would go back and speak to like historians in the middle of like the story being played out. So I was like, this isn't something that I want to watch at night. Like, this is something I have to sit down and really concentrate on. So I watched it, I was like, how is this #1 on Netflix? The truth is that it's probably not #1. They just make it #1. Just like the songs we listen to. Every day, there's another 30,000 new songs. Why do we listen to the same songs on the radio every day? Because they don't want to play the other songs because there's no money in it for them. They're going to play the songs that people paid them to play. So we're not listening to the best. We're listening to what they give us.
Exactly.
And it's not like that everywhere else in the world.
No.
You go to Europe and they're playing a bunch of different songs on the radio. You know, I'm sure that there's some corruption in their music industry as well, but they have a lot more diversity than us. It's like, it sucks because, you know, like, what percentage of the things that we intake are we genuinely intaking because they're valuable products? Versus like what they're just placing in front of us?
Yeah, I agree. And I have a question for you, because I said this previously and I saw it mentioned on another podcast. And now I'm like, I need to know what you think. Do you think that Drake really supports Sexy Red like this? Or do you think there's something afoot?
So Drake historically will do music with smaller artists that are up and coming, and they'll be hits. So he'll make like a hit song with them. He's notorious for having, for being featured on people's only #1 hit songs, meaning that a lot of the rappers that he's doing songs with, their only #1 song, like the song that tracked #1, was featuring Drake. I think he has like 32 songs that he's featured in that like place #1, something like that. So I think that because of that, it's on brand for him. I also think that he's so successful that he can take risks like that, like making songs with guys like Lil TJ or making songs with Sexy Red, and that there's like a big like little marketing scheme behind it, because it's so weird to see him going and doing something with Sexy Red that it's like you want to watch it. Like, you got to be there to like to witness what's gonna happen. So I think that because of that, it's like it's on brand for him. It's like it's not just Sexy Red. There's been many other people before him that before Sexy Red that he's done music with that weren't that big. I think she's like one of the first females, maybe.
Okay. So here's my take on it. I think that Drake is the new commercial for these artists. That the labels and the backing behind them are paying Drake instead of paying to have commercials on, paying to run ads. You pay Drake, let's say, $2 million instead of running a $5 million marketing campaign. You pay Drake $2 million, he blows up that record. He blows up that artist. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that Sexy Red's music is so fucking trash. I think it's so trash that I find it impossible. That Drake actually thinks there's anything good about it and would ever be affiliated with that kind of crap unless he was being paid.
You know, I do not doubt that at all.
That's what I think.
I don't doubt that at all. It makes sense.
I
It
just
does
saw
not make
Camila
sense.
Cabello take a picture with a Yeet, one of the masks on that Yeet wears. You think that she thinks Yeet is fire? This girl has hit records. This girl is beautiful. That kid is trash.
People
that kid's
love Yeet.
music sucks. I don't care what these children say. These kids don't know shit. These kids
People
know
love
nothing.
Yeet.
They
People
know
love Yeet.
nothing, bro. Who's they? 11-year-olds love Yeet. Who's listening to Yeet? You ever been on the block and heard Yeet playing? You ever been on the block and heard that? Ever?
I don't listen to Yeet. He shares fans with Twisty P. I can't be associated with that kind of stuff.
Bro, some of this music is garbage, bro. It's garbage. And then I find it very hard to believe that these major artists are just co-signing these trash-ass artists. I honestly feel that way.
You know what? You might be right. They might have cracked the code, and these are like different. I love the way you use it, like the analogy of a commercial. Like they're paying him, like he's the commercial, because it brings me to something I wanted to ask you about because we were talking about like shows being like them. Is the stuff that we're intaking, is it popular because it's great, or is it popular because these huge companies are just making it number one and putting it in front of our faces? It's like commercials on children's television. I know I talked about this on many episodes before, but it's like, why? How come there's not? First of all, how come there's not more regulations on commercials, right? And why are they giving commercials on children's like networks? These people don't have any money to buy anything. It's because they're brainwashing them, bro. It's
Dude, they're brainwashing them to break your balls every time you go to the store. It's a commercial that pays dividends over and over again. The kid watches the commercial. You don't care if the kid knows what that product is. You know that by showing that kid that shiny product, whatever toy, whatever it is, that he's going to then promote that product to you for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's going to be on his Christmas list. It's going to be everywhere. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Your daughter's going to break your chops until you're like, what is this thing?
It happened to me with the Grimace Shake.
It's gonna happen.
My daughter never had a Grimace Shake. I don't even know what a Grimace Shake is. But she was talking about it for months. She was like, oh, the Grimace Shake, the Grimace Shake, the Grimace Shake. And I'm like, what is... It's apparently some drink from McDonald's.
It's probably just a milkshake with purple food coloring in it or something.
Probably. I have no idea.
You know?
But she was talking about it forever. And it's like, man, I hate commercials.
It's marketing. It's advertising. It's effective marketing. They know that they can get in the children's minds. This is exactly why I think certain topics that are very big in the media and very big in Western culture right now should be outlawed across the board, because you can persuade younger people to believe anything that you show them on TV.
Yeah, and what happens is that the people with the most money end up in control, because they can control narratives, they can control news articles, they can control popularity. A perfect example is Jon Stewart recently interviewing the FPC chair. I think her name was Lynn Kahn. And one of the things he told her was that Apple was asking him not to speak to her. And, you know, I'm not going to get into, you know, possibly why Apple doesn't want, you know, this girl having a voice or him speaking to her. But it just goes to show you, like, a large company like Apple or like Google or this company, that company, telling somebody else to not interview somebody. What is that saying? That's saying that they want to silence that person. They don't want the masses. You're talking about Jon Stewart, somebody who's very popular, who people do listen to. People respect his opinion. He's a credible resource. They're asking him not to interview this person. You're essentially, in so many ways silencing, him when it comes to her. Now, if you do this on Twitter, we do this on YouTube, and we do this on Facebook. These are people's main media intake. Not many people are watching 3 or 4 different news channels to get their news. They're watching one. Maybe they're not watching news at all. They're just watching Jon Stewart. Maybe they're just listening to podcasts. But when you restrict people's ability to intake certain information, you begin to draw whatever narrative you wish to draw.
Yeah. I mean, I can't help but think back to certain times where they were deplatforming people previously. Dude, there was a time when the president of the United States, Donald Trump, whether you like him or you don't,
Yeah.
every social media platform kicked him off the platform.
How crazy is that? That they just like, you know what? We don't want you reaching the people. So we're just going to take you off of all. And even if you don't like him, it's crazy to think that they could just shut somebody up like that.
He was the elected president of the United States, and they decided to take away his voice.
Dude, they had to 4 different social media websites came out from that one debacle.
How is that possible? So, this is why I say allowing things like that, no matter how much you hate the guy, if you allow them to silence the president and you allow them to silence a person that was elected, they can do anything they want. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This is why I say when things are happening to big, people, mainstream people, the president, big artists, things like that, we can't start to deplatform them. You may hate Andrew Tate. You deplatformed him. That means that you open the gate to have yourself deplatform one day. That's what that means. When you start knocking down these big people and taking them off, you got to start wondering when it's going to happen to you.
Yeah. Or you got to slow down, because what happens is you create this mob of people who are deplatformed, and then they create a platform of the deplatformed. And that's how you get websites like Kick and what was that, like the new Twitter that was like it's supposed to be like the right wing Twitter. It wasn't intended for that, but
Truth Social.
Truth Social.
That actually just went public. I bought some stock in it, yeah, because I think it's going to shoot up until the election. It's dipped since I bought it. That was Donald Trump's social media platform.
Oh, okay.
And then he did some kind of merger and it went public, and he came up $3.5 billion in net worth once that happened. Oh, so damn. He had like liquid cash of like $3 billion. So then when they started throwing this number, I think that's why he did it, in case he had to pay that money. The money they were demanding. So he did this merger with that company. Ended up, having access to like $3+ billion as a result. So I think he was just preparing to have liquid cash to pay this if he needed to.
Well, no banks wanted to loan him any money.
Which is crazy.
Nobody wanted to give him any money.
See, this is what I'm saying. Listen, people, when you support the crippling and the evisceration of a person of that stature, what do you think is going to happen to you? What do you think?
Man, I can't stop thinking about the fact that, are we watching the best movies because they're the best movies?
No, we're watching, dude. We're very easily conditioned. People are conditioned. I mean, Stockholm syndrome and stuff like that is enough to tell you. Like, there have been people that have been captive, and they've been captive for long enough that they unchain them, let them go to the grocery store, and they come back.
And they come back, yeah.
Like, you can condition a person. I mean, think of it, terrible things like slavery. These people were forced into things and conditioned to be a certain way and taught to fear. And that's what they're doing, is they're inflicting fear in us with certain things. And with other things, they're teaching us, they're just brainwashing us over and over. I mean, nobody likes Katy Perry. Katy Perry songs are number one because we hear them a million times, and then you just find yourself singing it in the shower. It's not that
Dude, the craziest part is when you get force fed a Katy Perry song that Katy Perry didn't write, that she didn't make the beat to, that she didn't play the guitar to, whatever the case. They literally just made that all themselves and copy pasted it on this human, and then they just force feed it to us.
Yeah. She comes, you know, she walks in a hoodie and a t-shirt and says, "What are we doing today, guys? What are we singing?"
Yeah.
And
One
they
day somebody
just-
picked her.
Yeah.
They were like, this would be a good person to lead our mass manipulation.
Yeah.
Bring her in.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be the face of music, honey.
That's it. You can be
Sing
the
these
face of
songs.
music. You're going to throw a couple of public tantrums about social injustice. You'll fit the part, honey.
I like her though. Let's put some of that hate towards Taylor Swift.
Nah, I like her too.
Yeah, Katy Perry's not bad.
Nah, I like
If we're gonna
Katy
hate on anybody,
Yeah.
let's make it Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Swift is tough to hate on too, man. She's never really done nothing, man. She seems super sweet. I mean, I don't like her music. I think her music is for like, you know, young girls. But I'll tell you what. You know what I have been easing up to the last few days?
Katy Perry? I mean,
Country music.
what? Yeah?
I actually, I sent a song. It's so funny. I found a song because a friend of mine is trying to, like my cousin was always trying to get me on it and stuff. And now, you know, some friends of mine are you know, in other circles are like, try this song, listen to this song. So I started listening to some of it. And I got to say, there's one record that the first one that kind of opened up the barn door and I started looking. It's called The Devil You Know.
I feel like a couple weeks ago you were playing us a country song
I may have. There's,
about like somebody who died. It was a sad ass song. I remember you played it in the middle of
it wasn't. It was an independent artist that had actually written this song, and I saw him post it, and it had very few views, and then it just went viral, man.
But that song was like a country song, right?
Yeah, it was a country song. It was the one that's like, I've been thinking about dying,
Yeah.
right? And how it's gonna be. But it's not about somebody dying per se. His young daughter had asked him about death. He said while they were like walking out of the house. So then he just like ran downstairs, sat on the steps and wrote that song. He said in 20 minutes, I wrote that song. And I thought it was just great. You know, it was just like,
Maybe that's the one that opened up this country door.
you know, maybe, but then some friends kind of urging me a little bit. And so I started looking. I asked my cousin, I'm like, give me some songs, you know, because I don't like the kind of hopeless heartbreak that a lot of these records are about.
I don't know
what I'm
much
saying?
of it, but it seems like that's what people say that a lot of those songs consist of.
Yeah, it's a lot of heartbreak. It's a lot of being
dog
heartbroken
died.
and drinking whiskey because of it, you know, and then just a lot of it. But
Wearing Wrangler jeans,
yeah, so
flannels,
true.
flashlights in your
Trucks.
belts.
I asked my cousin to send me songs that weren't about heartbreak. So he's big into this. He's got like he goes to so he's going to see Morgan Wallen in May. Like my cousin is
Who's Morgan Wallen? Sounds like that guy won the fishing tournament last
is it
year.
Morgan Wallen? Yeah, I think so.
Maybe Bobby Whalen.
Nah, I think it's Morgan.
Either way, they're a country singer.
Yeah, he's a country. Yeah, Morgan Wallen. He's a country singer, but he's very popular among younger people. Like he's different. I think he was even like chilling with Lil Durk a few times and stuff. He's different. He's appealing to a younger audience than a lot of country music, you know. And so my cousin's young. He's in his 20s. He's in his early 20s. So he's going. He's hyped. So he was sending me records, and I found one. Man, it was cool. It was called "The Devil You Know." It was by this dude something Braden. Dang. But anyway, so it's about, he's just saying like, I'm a nice guy. Like it starts like hand on the Bible, I'm a decent man, you know, but then he just goes off about like, but don't do nothing crazy. Cause like,
Okay.
I'll fuck you up, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I found it was real cool, man. It was like, it was funny, man. It still had these hokey country lines like go ahead and light the fuse. I could be a loose cannon, like stuff like that. But at the same time, it was cool, man. He was like, you know, it just hit something when I was driving. I was like, word. I was like, you know, I'm professional. I do my thing. I got a good job. It's like, but don't do it, bro. Don't go there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. So how long before you buy a guitar?
I got a bass in my Amazon bag right now. Actually, funny you should say that.
That's funny because I thought for sure you'd go acoustic right away.
Nah, my man is acoustic. Can't have two people playing the same instrument in a band. You know what I mean?
Okay, so there's already all right. Okay, that makes
I'm
sense.
in a band.
Yeah,
I'm literally in a band.
yeah. Your 10-gallon hat on the way.
Telling you, man. Listen, man. I was at a Nashville bar the other day, man.
I'll tell you one thing. I would like a nice pair of them boots.
Telling you, man. Don't worry. I'll have a plug soon.
Yo, those boots look like you could wear them for 15 years,
Oh,
and they
you
only
can.
get better. Like, you know, they're more valuable after that.
Those boots are made for walking.
Yeah, they're like Peterbilt trucks. You know what I'm saying? A million miles.
That's right. You like that nice boot with some nice patina.
Yeah,
Nice
you know?
patina boot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nice crocodile.
Oh, come on.
That's the
man.
only. Listen, I'll tell you one thing. That's a demographic that they don't give a fuck, and that's the first one. So I earned it.
You did. I
They
have
don't-
one too.
They don't give an F about like any of those things. They're like, you want to wear ostrich, you want to wear polar bear on the inside of your vest. Come on down.
Yeah, come on
You
down,
want to
man.
ride? Want to wear guns? Keep your guns. You know.
Yeah.
Freedom, America.
That's right.
That's, you know, when I think of country music, that's what I think of. Like some of
Yeah.
the things associated with it. So I can't hate on that.
Yeah. I was just surprised because just some of it is so bad. Like I gotta be honest, man. Zach Bryan has some incredible records. One of my favorites is I think it's called Something in the Orange. It's a great song, dude.
Nah, I'm sure they make great songs. Every once in a while, you got to come back and listen to people talk about killing each other.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think that like on a road trip,
Yeah.
it's probably great.
Yeah. Something in the Orange is a great record. Anybody that's listening to this, if you're you know open to well written songs, and Something in the Orange is an incredible record, man. But yeah, so let's get back to it, dog.
Getting back to it, our last topic of the day.
What do we got? Hit that thumbs up too if you're in here.
Got two topics.
What do you got?
You know, sometimes people do things at their jobs where they slip up and they do things that shouldn't, you know, they shouldn't have done. And sometimes those slip ups, they stay within the company. And sometimes your slip ups kill a couple 100,000 fish. Well, for whatever reason, a fertilizer company in Missouri left open a valve, and that valve somehow, some way ended up spilling fertilizer into a river and ended up killing 800,000 some odd fish in this river, which I think is crazy. And it's funny because I was listening to this. I got this from Philip DeFranco. He brings up another story where somebody else did the same thing, but at a milk factory, and the milk went into the river and killed a bunch of fish too. I was like, what? Milk? Fertilizer? That makes sense. Milk?
Damn, I guess it doesn't do a fish body good.
No, yeah, dude, that's exactly what I was thinking. Dude, you're crazy. That's the song I was thinking about. For the people at home, the lyric, I don't even know what song it is.
It's a
'cause Milk
commercial.
does the body good. Oh, I'm thinking about the Lil Wayne song.
No, milk does a body good.
Lil
that was
Wayne
like
rapped
that was
in
an
his
old
song.
milk commercial. Milk does a body good.
Lil Wayne quoted that, and I thought that's what you were singing.
Oh, so you thought that was the original?
No, well, yeah, I never heard it before.
You thought Lil Wayne was the milk spokesperson?
I think he was referring to cocaine when he was saying it, but yeah. Yeah, I didn't think that. That's crazy. That's funny.
Yeah. But damn, that's nuts, man. That guy killed so many fish, dude.
Yeah, you lose your job after that, I think.
Yeah, and they're gonna get fined major stuff. It depends how many corrupt politicians are involved in that company. We'll see. They'll probably get a slap on the wrist if the right people are involved. I have zero faith in our government, man. I think they're all complete and total pieces of shit, dude. I swear to God, I think every senator, I think every congressman, I think every politician, every president, I think everybody's a complete piece of shit, man.
Two things. But before we go too far, he was talking about cocaine. He said, I got cocaine. That's so good. I call it milk because milk does the body good. Anyways, but I don't think that these politicians are necessarily, I think that they become pieces of shit. I think that they're just selfish. And like and that when you're in that field of work, like it's necessary to be selfless and think about your constituents. But I think that us as humans, like we've proven over and over and over that we are incapable of that level of selflessness. That, the second we do get into a position where we're able to take advantage of people and take advantage of situations, that we do. And I think our modern day politics kind of just illustrate that perfectly. You look at these guys who are, supposed to be in positions where they don't make any money, but they're millionaires. It's like, why is that? It's because just like your conspiracy that people pay Drake to blow up other artists, this isn't a conspiracy. People are paying these people to push through legislation to support their bills. which is even crazier than forcing people to listen to music. They're changing legislation based on this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Which is insane.
I just think that for somebody to get into politics to the level of you want to be the president, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit if you think that you're just going to go up there and rule America. Who wants to rule America that's not a piece of shit? Would you want that job? Do you want that job to be the president?
I don't want to be president.
And that's exactly why you should be. That's what I think. I think they need to make somebody that doesn't want to be president be president.
They gotta force them. I'll tell you one thing. They make me president right away. First thing I'm dropping is no longer a one-man job. Bring 2 more people in.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring 2 more people in.
We need a night shift.
Yeah.
Who's the overnight president?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be, I'll work the 7 to 3. You're the 3 to, sorry, honey, you're 3 to 11.
We split it 2 and 2. The first 2 years, I'm night shift.
Yeah.
Second, you get to pick. Ready? Odds and evens.
Yeah, and we're doing 3 people because I don't want it to ever be like half-half. You know what I'm saying? I want to, but when decisions need to be made, I need decisions to be made.
There needs to be an overlapping shift, right?
Yeah, it's going to be like we're reffing a fight. There's going to be 3 of us, and laws could get passed, but it's going to be a split decision, you know? And it's going to be like, yeah, listen, they federally legalized cannabis, but it was a split decision. This one might, this one might come back the other way.
I like this.
And it's going to be, and I'm going to run my campaign based on transparency. Everything's going to be out in the open. But you know what the problem is that I'm also confident that we're all so dumb that you can't allow us to do things. The fact that we get to pick the guy is crazy too. I want to pick him too because I feel like I'm intelligent, but I feel like I'm outnumbered. I feel like the dumb ones are outnumbered. And I might be one of the dumb ones and I just don't know. But I feel like the dumb ones are out. They're out sticking the smart ones, and then we're gonna go on a voting system, and it's like, man, you just gave all these guys free chips. Of course they're gonna vote for you. You've been giving them free chips for the past 6 months, and then you've been, doing other stuff. So making it a popularity contest probably isn't the best way either. It's flawed, man. I'm not the guy, though. I'm not the guy to figure this out. I'm not the guy to be president. That's not me. You know what I'm saying? I can't figure this out. So it's difficult for me to say like, oh, why can't you figure this out? Because I'm not going to be figuring it out. But I will agree with some of the things you're saying. That's like these people, it's like, it's just weird. It's like you made you weren't supposed to make all this money. Why are you so well off? Like, how did this happen? Like, how did you come here?
It's career politics, bro. There's literally numbers. Like Vivek Ramaswamy went up there and he spoke publicly. Like he went up there and was like, you came into here in debt. You got into politics. He was talking about like Nikki Haley blew her up like during his time to speak at the debate. He's like, you were broke when you came in here. You were in super debt. He said, now you're a multi-millionaire. How did that happen on Capitol Hill? He said, you make $200,000 a year to something like that. That's what they all get paid. It's like this like structured cap system. But then you got people that are entering with regular lives and walking out worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The Clintons are worth hundreds of millions. Yeah. And they went in there with meager lives, regular lives, and they're worth hundreds of millions. How?
Because just like we talked about, you mentioned the possibility of people paying Drake to push their artist music.
They're getting paid to push the agenda of corporations.
Yeah. What happens when a guy makes a car that runs on water or runs on air, and then the gas company gives somebody $10 million to make sure that car don't come out?
What ends up happening is he offs himself for some weird reason, somewhere nobody was around, and that's what ends up happening to those people. When you're that creative and you're that forward thinking, you don't make it, bro.
I hate to use like cannabis as like a perfect example of them just taking something that could be revolutionary and could, help out and making it, illegal or bastardizing it or creating this huge stigma around it just to keep it illegal because it's going to affect their bottom dollar.
True.
And it's not even about smoking it. I'm talking about the fact that they could have made millions of other things aside from the psychoactive properties of it, the plant itself, the hemp, you know what I'm saying? All the paper, the rope, all the clothing, all this stuff that we didn't, it's better than copper. I mean, excuse me, it's better than cotton, but we didn't use it for all those years because they made it illegal because they said it made men crazy and made them grape people.
Well, you know the reason that propaganda took place, right?
Yeah,
Like why they pushed toward that. There was like an alleged, what it was a targeting of certain minorities that happened to partake in it. So they had to try to find a way to lock them up. So they tried to find a common thread in everything they all did, and they all happened to do that. So that's when they created the propaganda of reefer madness and all that kind of stuff, and then utilized that as the fuel to then criminally charge people in possession of cannabis.
But they say that reefer madness agenda was being pushed by the company that owned. I think they made paper or clothing, and they didn't want hemp to be used to make all these products because they had invented. I think it was cotton actually. They had invented. They were in the cotton industry.
Yeah.
And because of that, they were lobbying against cannabis, and they pushed the agenda of reefer madness. So
which is funny because initially you were forced, you were obligated to have a certain portion of your farmland to grow cannabis because the hemp was such a strong textile and such a good quality. It's like the strongest rope you can make, So they were forcing farmers to grow it. You had to. It was like obligated. If you have this much farmland, if you have X amount of farmland, X amount needs to be dedicated to just growing hemp. Like you were obligated to do it. And then one day they made it illegal.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? Like, come on.
Yeah, and we're still suffering. It's still illegal. But it's not about cannabis. It's more about the fact that we know that these things are possible and have happened in the past. But we don't look at the things that happen in modern day times and associate them to like these things. Correct. We don't say, hey, maybe this is happening all over again. Maybe they're like, no, he should be taken off of Twitter. He's a racist. It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Everybody's crazy, though. Everybody jumps off the deep end, bro. You know that.
Yeah, we're getting off the deep end right now.
Yeah. So what do we got? Do we have any other topics you wanted to touch on? I mean, we are at the hour.
We're at the hour.
Now we're good. All right. We're at the hour. That's it. Mass and None Podcast, episode 194. Thank you, guys. We're closing in on 200. We got to do something special for episode 200. We got to do something. We're going to figure it out.
I almost said something crazy.
Yeah, don't say nothing crazy. You're doing very good today.
That's why I didn't say it. Because I almost offered you fellatio for episode 200, and I didn't.
We are making exceptions for crazy things.
Yeah. So episode 200, you know what I should do?
I'll make an exception.
No.
But yeah, we do appreciate everybody that jumped in the chat. Shout out to X. Shout out to George. We're gonna have something special planned eventually. But we do appreciate you for stopping in. Make sure that on the way out you hit that thumbs up. You subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you never miss a single live episode or anytime we post a new video, clip, or short. So we do appreciate you guys. And if you don't find us, if you can't watch us, the video version, you can find us on your favorite audio podcast listening platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Store, Stitcher, Podbean, iHeartRadio. But if you don't find us on your favorite audio podcast listening platform, Berto.
Join the Discord. Join the Discord and harass us. Harass us until we place a podcast on your obscure podcast listening platform.
That's what we got. So make sure you hit that thumbs up. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Da, da, da.
Oye, te hablo desde la prisión. Wilson Mayoma.